is now 7 p.m. I'd like to ask if you wouldn't mind, please rising for the Board of Selectmen meeting and ask you to rise to the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And roll call.
Mark Gagny.
Kevin Cunningham.
Peggy Laurie.
Item 3 is just one item on there. Approved minutes, meeting minutes from special Board of Selectmen meeting dated 10/23/24.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes for 10/23/24.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item D, public comment. Is anybody here from the public who wishes to speak? Now would be the time to do so.
Kevin, are you going to approve both? Was that motion for both minutes?
Of that?
That was just for the first.
Really for the
Because the other one we already voted for last at the special meeting.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Do you mind if I see? Apologies if I have a little bit of a cold. All right. Hello, my name is Samantha Darenthal. I live on Highland Street in Moose Up. I'm here as a private citizen, a member, a Board of Education member, and a candidate in the current election cycle. I want to keep this brief, but I do need to address some serious concerns about one of tonight's agenda items surrounding the sale of the cell phone tower, as it shows a lack of forethought and is part of the final grasping of straws to fund a want versus Plainfield's many, many needs. To recap, on March 25th, during a Board of Selectmen meeting, Mr. Cunningham presented the following points as recorded in the meeting minutes. The offer to purchase the cell phone tower is $660,000. The cell phone tower currently generates $37,500 annual through a lease, though in the town budget does state that it's $32,850. Mr. Cunningham indicated that the revenue from a proposed digital billboard would offset the loss of revenue from the tower. The plan that also includes $510,000 from the sale of the accrued interest from a building sold in 2008, approximately 16 years ago, totaling that and the revenue and the tower is $1.17 million. This amount, according to Mr. Cunningham, would be used to finish upgrades to Lions Park, an investment of over $1 million to finish upgrades to a single park in Plainfield. I have two primary objections. First, why the cell phone tower shouldn't be sold, and second, why any proceeds, if sold, should not be directed towards Lions Park upgrades. Why we shouldn't sell the cell phone tower. The immediate appeal of $660,000 is very understandable. I understand that it will take 16 years with the lease revenue to get to the $660,000. However, even factoring in a modest annual increase in the lease, the stable yearly income for the cell phone tower outweighs the one-time payment when looking at the long-term value, especially if being used for Lions Park upgrades. By retaining ownership, we control future lease terms. Demand for cell phone towers will only grow as mobile usage fees or usage increases. Does anyone in this room plan on not using their cellular device in the upcoming years? I didn't think so. While $660,000 in a lump sum, the $37,000 is a steady, dependable income. The very fact that a company is willing to wait 16 years to recoup its investment shows that they recognize the long-term value. As for the digital billboard revenue, this should have never been put into a budget as a source of income stream, as it wasn't approved. It actually has been voted down 4 times, twice by the Planning and Zoning Board, and once by the Zoning Board of Appeals, and once by the Plainfield's very own residents, effectively zeroing out this source in the town's budget. Now, why, if we do sell the cell phone tower, should it not be used for Lions Park upgrades? The choice involves an essential distinction: selling an appreciating asset, the cell phone tower, to fund a depreciating one, the park upgrades. These upgrades will lead to increased annual costs for insurance, maintenance, staffing, and eventually, more funds will be needed to replace the upgrades. While I fully support parks, you can ask my son, we go to them regularly, and their benefits to the community, within the last year we have heard directly from residents struggling with unmet needs in education, accessibility, and essential services. Our Board of Education chair herself stated that high turnover in teachers has impacted her own family, and our inability to hire permanent staff is driven by this district's lower compensation compared to the surrounding areas. Our school district managed to fund breakfast for all students with funds that could only be used for things like breakfast or our tables within our cafeterias and things like that, but this is only a single-year solution. This ensures that every child can start the day well-nourished. Again, a one-year solution. Families across Plainfield are contending with the rising costs, including their electric bills, which have gone up 60 to 80%. Even our town's infrastructure for IT is so outdated that referendums still require a raise of hand votes, where I've seen us having to count by human to human, count hands in this very full room. Our town's recent budget discussions show how many people are struggling. Many residents called for reductions in budgets, like paraprofessional support for our most vulnerable students, to avoid additional tax burdens, even as other discretionary expenditures remain high, like the $15,000 for one night of fireworks in Plainfield, that though my family did really enjoy, right, Ollie? We would gladly give up to help fund a mobile health clinic, or to aid those who are choosing between feeding their family or keeping up with their electric bill. I hope the increases to these electric bills were factored in the operating costs for the town hall for the new holiday, scratch that, I mean Christmas lights, that were delivered to the town hall recently. If we proceed with the cell phone tower sale, we should direct these funds towards investments that support Plainfield's future stability and growth. Recently, the public school system gave back the ECC building, or the Early Childhood Center building, returned it to the town to save $300,000 from their budget. This is already set up for children and could be used as a fixed-price daycare for providers within the town to make childcare more affordable. Or the office spaces could serve for low-cost workspaces for new businesses, fostering economic development without steep overhead. Temporary medical clinics or flex medical spaces could be set up to bring needed health care, like an urgent care, which is a half hour away from us, just in case anyone's wondering if you have a sinus infection. You could set up to meet the healthcare needs of our community without high costs of maintaining permanent facilities.
Excuse me, Samantha?
Yes. I have one more paragraph.
And that's it, okay?
Yep. I'm making very valid points. So, in conclusion, selling the cell phone tower offers a one-time payout without replacing the yearly revenue it provides, directing these funds towards assets that will depreciate over time while adding our annual maintenance costs. Suggests a short-sighted approach that could leave our residents to blame the education budget for a rise in mill rate versus taking a closer look at how we are planning for our future and recklessly spending money on wants versus need. Instead, let's start taking a look at this now, so when budget time arrives in the next month, we can focus on how best to allocate funds and choose investments that build sustainable future for Plainfield. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Samantha. Does anybody else have the public wish to speak?
Did you need this fellow?
I think we're good.
Okay. I agree about the cell tower being sold. I believe that we took a town vote on this in June. And I thought that we would have to wait at least 6 months before it came up again. I could be wrong in my information, but I do feel that it is only going to produce more money for us because, as Samantha said, that we can decide how much to charge for the rental. And I understand it was going to go from 35 to 50. I don't know. I heard these different things going around, so I don't know for sure. But I do feel that since the town's already voted like 89 to 18 against it, that perhaps we should just reconsider and look more into things that would be better serviced than selling the tower. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else from the public wish to speak at this time?
Hi, Linda Straders, Exley Road in Plainfield. It's on item number 4 again, the cell tower. I'm not quite understanding why it's on here again, because we did vote it down at that June 5th town meeting we had. So I'm a little bit confused on why it's being brought up again, and I was wondering myself about the 6 month. I thought things couldn't be brought up again for 6 months. So that was my questions on that, and I still am not in favor of selling it. I think there's too many questions and logistics to work out for that, so that's it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Go ahead.
Hi, Lois DuPoint, 942 Norwich Road, Plainfield, Connecticut. To be redundant, I follow along with my fellow taxpayers here in Plainfield about the cell tower issue. I also understand that there needs to be a time period before that issue is brought back up again for a discussion or a vote. I'm not sure why it's being brought back up. Maybe I'm being, too quick to agree with this, but there is not enough information out there to determine why it's back on the agenda today to discuss why it should be sold, or which we already took a vote on and decided not to do this. So it is to me suspect about why it's back on the agenda and why it seemed to be an urgent issue that we need to discuss at this time. And I just had questions about it. I'm not sure if it's going to a vote today. There doesn't seem to be enough people here to discuss it, or I'm not sure of the protocol of that. Also, my objection to having it sold as well.
Anybody else?
Sean Peterson, I live in Plainfield. I will agree, but I disagree with selling an asset that will generate us income every year. Perhaps we need to do a better job negotiating the contracts, maybe get the rates up a little higher so it creates a little more for us. How many providers are on that tower currently? My understanding is the more providers that have devices on that tower, the more revenue we can increase, we can get. I'm sure that's why this company wants that so bad. They're probably going to put more people on that tower to generate more rent, lease income. So there's an upside for them, so it's definitely a downside for us. We should be keeping the revenue.
Okay.
That's my point.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public?
Dave Schiffman, Lucifer. I think the summary is pretty good here. This idea of selling the tower was not passed before. 2, if you look around here, no one has talked in favor of it. No one has come who might talk in favor of it. It is clearly the people who are interested don't want it. And 3rd, there does not seem to be a good economic reason for it. So I really have to stand against this idea.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public? Okay, if we move on, there is no old business. Item E, item F is new business. Number 1, consider an act on tax refunds as requested by the tax collector totaling $307.22. Hyundai Lease Titling Trust, $200.32. A-Car Leasing, $59.76. CCAP Auto Leasing Ltd, $47.15.
Motion to approve the tax refunds in the amount of $307.23.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item 2, discuss notification of proposed demolition of a historic building located 685, 689 Norwich Road. It's in your packet. What it is just notification. We did get it's a letter that is sent out based on the fact that this is the ordinance number is wrong, it's incorrect. But it is a notification that there is a historic structure that paperwork was taken out for demolition by K&H for the property located at 685-89. In your packet, you can see that it is owned by William and Janet Edmond, and they're looking to demolish the property. So far, they've gone through the steps. me that that letter sent out to different groups. So you have it here. Any questions on that?
Is there any real historic value to the house?
Not really. That's why when they go through the process of, they go to ship out and make sure that everything's okay. And they have to go through that process so they get it released.
You know,
You know how it got on the, as a historic project?
No,
building?
you're not.
No? Just is there?
There's lots of properties like that.
Yeah?
it's 1760.
Oh, there you go.
That's probably why.
Yeah.
It's also required by the town to go through, when that comes up, to periodically check to see which ones should be on it, and they've all been done so far.
Okay.
Why would we bring this up? Is it any way we can preserve our historic buildings that have fallen apart? Is there any way we can help people get grant money or something?
We do try.
Yeah. It's
In
a
this case,
shame to see them.
Yeah, because we're very, I mean, it seems like we're very quick to take them down.
I saw this one, I went by, it's all boarded up, so it must be pretty bad if they want to take it down.
all right, item 3 is to discuss and act on putting out an RFP to choose a realtor for the sale of 61 Norwich Road. What we have here is we did put forth a RFP, checked it with the state of Connecticut, they're fine with that. Then you can see that there's a full assessment done for the building, which is required. The current assessment for the Early Childhood Center is $1,910,000. So RFP would let us go out there and try to find the appropriate realtor to look to sell it for the town of Plainfield. And of course, we've done this before. We've done it with the properties in the industrial park. So that's how we're able to utilize them.
How are we maintaining it in the meantime?
We already went through a walkthrough last week with the Board of Education, superintendent, and the maintenance crew, and walked through and showed how to and what to. Ron was there with us, so we had an idea of what we had to do to maintain it in the meantime.
Okay, so I'm just concerned another annex, I don't want another annex to occur.
The anticipation is with this RFP that we will be able to turn around and get the, you see the dates on there. Seal proposals in by November 20th, so this is going to go pretty quick. I've already had 4 different groups approaching the town of Plainfield to purchase.
I'm sorry, Kevin, what was that date for proposal?
November 20th at 11 a.m.
Thank you.
Have we thought about repurposing it at all? Or,
There was thought on repurposing, but then the cost to move everything around is prohibitive.
okay.
So what is your pleasure on that for item 3? Go out with an RFP.
I'll make a motion, we put on an RFP to choose a realtor for the sale of 651 Norwich Road.
And I'll second that.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item 4, discuss and act on setting a town meeting date for the sale of townhome south property located at 4751 Unity Drive to Tower Point for $660,000. You've heard from the public. Any other discussion from the board?
Yeah, why are we doing this again?
Okay, let's go through a couple of things, and I'll actually reference
That
some.
way we can answer some of the questions.
I'm going to answer all of them.
That's good.
Samantha, you were talking about how the, it was 16 years, it's actually 20. The calculations in that, and it comes out to 20 years. The other thing is, we are looking at a 20-year lease on a cell tower, which we don't know how the technology is going to advance, if that cell tower is something that can be utilized or not in the future, in 20 years from now. I will say that. The other thing is,
correct.
yeah, you can answer, that would be fine. Last time, if you noticed, there was a question, or item number 4, to approve the town of Plainfield cell tower Town of Plainfield's sale of the town-owned cell tower located at 4751 Unity Drive in the amount of $660, and the monies appropriated from the sale to be earmarked for the use of Lion Park upgrades. This does not have that on there. The monies are to be directed immediately into the fund balance. So that's why it's a different question, and that's why we can put it right away. I don't want to, and this, I'll be very kind of upfront with this. We need monies to go into the fund balance, because there's a few things coming up from the Board of Education, which are inclusive of, you have HVACs. we talked about the HVACs being upgraded, and those and I talked to the superintendent about this, and he's going to be going for an HVAC upgrade. You know what a van is, right? Yep. So,
But quite,
well, I'm just going to cut twice. A van is,
go ahead.
oh, you told me before you know what a van is.
No, I didn't, I wasn't saying that. I was going to answer your question with something else.
Okay. We have to come up with the money so we can actually put a bond altogether, but a ban is the prior, like, note you have to put on there, a temporary note until you get an actual bond. That ban is going to be about $500,000 at least. We have to have the monies available for it. Where are they going to get the money? Board of Education doesn't have it. They go to the town and ask for that money. So the more money we can put into the fund balance, including the sale of the ECC building, the better off we're going to be. So I'm not asking you to put money in your market or anything. I want to put it into the fund balance.
So you're asking the same question just without some of the
The intent before was to earmark the money. We're not going to earmark that money for any other project whatsoever. It goes to the fund balance, period. So, you know, we were talking about the needs of the Board of Education. I think that's one of the needs of the Board of Education. We've been talking about, for those who don't know, back in the year 2001, talking about HVAC not being upgraded in all of the schools.
It's been 20 years. We've had problems in the schools for 20 years.
Well, I was on the Board of Education in 2001, and that's one of the discussion items we had then. So it was already a need then. I think it really needs to get done. I'd like to be able to put the money to the fund balance so when the town is asked for the monies, that's where it would come from.
Well, then earmark it for that.
I'm sorry, that is not earmarking, that is money going into the fund balance. I'm not earmarking any money. All monies from sale of items go to the fund balance.
Well,
So that's one thing, and let's see what are the other comments here.
Have we done any kind of looking into at putting more leases on the cell tower?
Yep, that was one of the things that really kind of held us back from the negotiations. They wanted a rider in there saying the town of Plainfield couldn't put up a cell tower anywhere else. So that finally went off. It was not something we actually anticipated them coming up with, but that's what they came up with, and I said no. That's why we finally negotiated and finished the negotiations about 2 weeks ago.
All right. Is this lease agreement anywhere where the public can see it?
Sure.
Is it on our website or?
No, I have a copy of it, so when we go to the town, if we go to a town meeting, so in other words, first we start here first.
Yeah, I know that.
Then we go to
I
the
know.
Board of Finance. Then either one of us say no, then it doesn't go anywhere.
Right.
There was also a discussion during the comments from the public talking about the possible increase for the contract. Believe me, I've already reached out to the current contract owners, and those monies aren't going to go up to $50,000. There's absolutely no way. They might go up $3,000 or $4,000 per year, but that's it. So I don't know where that came from, a rumor out there, but
Is the town looking to get out of the business of leasing that tower?
that's why we should sell it.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
asking.
all we own is
Are
the
we
land
looking-
underneath it.
Right. Are we looking to get out of that?
That's what this is.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Is that the reason behind selling the tower?
We don't run the lease of the tower, we only have the property underneath it as a lease. We're getting out of the lease to sell it. That's just the land. We don't own the tower. So just to tie that into something else, we are talking about what we just passed, which is the RFP for the sale of the 651 Norwich Road, the old ECC building. Those sale monies go into the fund balance as well. I can also anticipate that the Board of Education is going to be coming to the town and asking for offset monies for their budget so that they can actually reduce their budget and be able to offset those monies with money from the fund balance. Maybe, maybe not, but that's what I was told already. So again, we have to have money in the fund balance in order to offset it.
What's our fund balance looking like right now?
Well, we were at the last audit at 22.64. So we were very good because the last few years we've been going up and up. I think if we do these, we're looking at probably 27%, but then we'll be looking at, again, what do you utilize money for? I think that the budget year is going to be very difficult. And I think that one of the questions is where are you going to come from money? So that's why I'm asking for proposed to put it back together again. And it is a different question because it's not earmarking any of the monies. It's just a straight sale of, and the money's going to the fund balance.
So let me get this straight then. We own a piece of property that the cell phone tower is on.
Yes,
They pay us rent for that piece of property.
yes.
So we're selling this piece of property for $660,000. They're still going to be paying taxes on the piece of property and their equipment, correct?
Yep.
So we still get yearly revenue from that, through that.
And what I would like to do is be able to at least push this forward to the Board of Finance and then hopefully to the taxpayers and let them decide what they want to do.
And did they decide on an easement? Did you decide on an easement?
This is basically, it's
Well,
it's in the contract.
getting there.
Yep.
So now they have to go through town property.
Yes, to get to it.
In order to be informed, could, who does the public see to go look at the lease as it sits right now? For the, if it does go to,
Well, the copy of the current lease
yes,
is available in town clerk's office.
okay. I think that's how you make an informed decision
Yep.
from a taxpayer point of view.
I plan on having information on all of the questions that we posed so far, and if you approve this one as well, so that you can see, like, as an example, we talked about the money's $120,000 for demo. To take a look at the pictures from the demolition is bad. So it just kind of proves, I want to be able to show documentation from each of those items, each of those questions.
All right, I'll make a motion that we send it to a town meeting,
To the Board of Finance.
to the board, to the Board of Finance. I make a motion, we send it to the Board of Finance to approve, so we can send it to a town meeting on the, to let the taxpayers decide on the tower being sold to Tower Point for $660,000.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item 5 is the sand bid, of which we received one bid. I gotta say, it's still lower than a lot of the towns around us, so I do want to thank Doris. It is going up over the years, but then that's the nature of the beast. You're talking about the increasing costs as well. So with that, we have a single bid for the price per cubic yard delivered to the town garage of $16.50, and then the price per cubic yard picked up by at the vendor's site for $13. What's your pleasure on that?
Make a motion to give the bid to Doris Desjardins for the sand.
Okay. A motion? I'll second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I don't think we have anything under other. We are still looking for people if they want to join into the Conservation Commission. We do have enough people to start, so they will be starting soon. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 7:29.